All right, all right. Greetings, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. Do like, share, subscribe. I appreciate that as well. TGIF to our guests, Poetic Art, and to Hobby Money, T. Jones, Zahara, Zero, my hero, Just DeAndre, Miss Sandra Lee, B1. How are you? Glad to see you. And as far as sharing, share everywhere you can. Twitter, all that good stuff. Tonight we have a special guest. His name is Poetic Art. He is an author of a nice book that I have purchased. It is a book of poetry. Well done. Well done, I must say. I'm not saying that just because I bought it. Because if you know me, I'm just not one for lying. That's just that. All right, let me switch on over now that I am ready to begin. Bam! In the words of Art New Style. All right, and I hope everyone is safe, doing well. There has been a lot of changes And the past, what, 7 days? Yeah, since last week, it has been a lot. And I do mean a lot. What have we experienced? Let's see. Well, Ghost Town. Not sure how many of you all has been out, um, going shopping, to work, but it is ghost town out there. I could not believe the Magnificent Mile in Chicago had a few people. You can cross the street against the light because there's just wasn't enough cars coming. It was just that empty. Now, Sundays normally that is the slowest day in Chicago, but it was ghost town. I just could not believe it. It was totally incredible. And I had just went out Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. Was it Thursday? No, I think it was Thursday. I went to yeah, it was Thursday, just to get a few items. And it was like I said, ghost town. Public transportation, ghost town. But a lot of places are offering free shipping, and that's including your Uber Eats. What are those other ones? DoorDash, some of your other restaurants that you may go to. That's something that's going on. Um, there are a lot of places that are deferring your bills. Do take advantage of that if you can. That's important. Don't spend all your cash if you don't have to. It has been announced that tax day is now July 15th instead of April 15th, and that will be without penalties. So if you file later, that's fine. They're giving you to July 15th, and that's even if you owe them, you're able to pay them without penalty. And that is definitely, I call a jubilee because the IRS do not play, do not mess with them people. So if they give that to you, you know it's some serious business. Yes, it is. Also, they had announced yesterday for the state of Illinois that if you have one of those type of jobs that you're not able to go back to work, there's nothing you can do about it. And at a lot of places too, like with restaurants, go and file for unemployment. They are also waiving the 1 week waiting period. So that's a plus because who wants to wait an extra week to get 1 week of pay when you have nothing? So do take advantage of that. Check your state to see if they're doing that. But in the state of Illinois, that's what they announced, that you'll be able to file for unemployment and you don't have to worry about that 1 week waiting period. So that is great. Also, yesterday, one of the suburbs here in Illinois or Chicago, called Oak Park, they were the first area to have the shelter in order. And they started that yesterday at midnight. So they're telling you, hey, stay in. You don't have to go out. Stay in. So they started that. And they said, no problem if you're going to do things that you have to do, like go to the bank, gas station, the store, and work. But that was it. And then what happens? The governor announces today that he's going to make that for all of the state of Illinois. So now it affects me. I said, wow. Oh boy. So I was actually, it kind of dampened my mood because I was going to go to another particular store I wanted to go to get my salmon. But after they announced that, I don't know. I just got into a different mood. I'm like, man. So I said I'll go tomorrow, get a bright start, and go out. What else we have? Trying to think what else I've experienced besides that. Oh, I am getting some um, more emails, like I said, with the free shipping and all of that. They are having a lot of discounts. And if you can take advantage of that, please do. Because every little bit helps. You know, we all need a little help sometimes. I do have a, sympathy for those that are really going through it. I know a lot of the businesses are, not just the employees as well as just regular citizens. We are experiencing something, something that we've never seen before. But it appears that everyone is in kind of like a you know, they're not too crazy, and I'm glad about that. Not a lot of panic. You see more panic or the talk of panic online, but I haven't seen that in person. You know, there has been some fighting for tissue. I don't know what that's about. Not tissue necessarily, but toilet paper. That is just crazy. Whatever that rumor was, they just lost their mind and just bought everything up. As far as limiting the water, I get it. I do get that. And I kind of hate that because for myself, who wants to tote 1 gallon of water at a time? Now, you got to remember if you haven't, I'm in Chicago, so they tax our bottles. They tax a nickel per bottle. So because of that, I don't buy the cases like I used to. I used to buy a case of water. Case of water is an extra $1.20 just because they're taxing each bottle. So I'm like, nah, I'll just go with the gallons. But they limit everyone to 1 gallon. Whatever you buy, you limit to just one of those. So if you want to get a 20 ounce, you only can buy one. 16 ounce, 24 ounce, liter, half liter, gallon, 6 pack, however it's packaged, you limit to one. Hey, it is what it is. What can you do? But it's going to be interesting. They're also mentioning that they're going to offer $1,000 per adult during this crisis. Um, I'm trying to remember, was Congress? I think they did say okay to that. I believe I did read that they said okay. I know they were talking about it yesterday, and there was two stories, and I didn't go back to read the today as far as any word on that because I was just too well. I ain't gonna say upset, but I was shocked at the fact that they hit us telling us to stay in. I'm like, no, I don't want to stay in. Let me out. Let me out of here. But hey, gotta do what they're telling me to do, and I get it. Um, reported deaths. I do not have a number, but there isn't a great number, which I understand. Anything over one, we're sad about, but I don't think there's a great number of deaths. Um, of course, it's for those with a weaker immune system, and then that could be young or older. So do keep that in mind. But, people out there, please be safe. Do what you need to do. If you get, in the words of Terrain Rain, you get some palm colored people coughing, just yell very loudly, cover your cough. That's all you have to do. You don't have to try to say their name, embarrass them, because of course you wouldn't know their name. But that's all you got to do. Just yell that out. Cover your cough. And people will look around and they'll feel kind of crazy. That's all you got to do. But that's enough for that now. A little later, I'll have something to share. Depends on how the panel goes. I wanted to share communication because I mentioned that last week. that we need to learn how to communicate better with customer service because I don't know what's going on. And that is something I do want to share. I have a customer service call that I had located online. Um, it's not that funny to me, but it is funny all at the same time. So I'm sure if you've been there, it may not be that funny to you, especially if it was important. But hopefully, we'll have time for that. I'll try to make time for it. All right. So without further ado, let me get my peoples that are ready to come on, and that will be my guest, Poetic Art, which is an author, and then we will have the lovely, classy, classic Ruby, everyone.
Thank you, Char.
Welcome, welcome. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I am good. I am
Awesome.
glad to see you.
Yes, it's been what since August,
I think so.
July, July, August. Yeah,
I think so. But I'm so glad to have a accomplished author on the show. Guy that's wise, have a lot of wisdom. Some stuff to offer us. I really appreciate that.
I appreciate you.
And welcome, Ruby. As always, thank you for joining the show. I appreciate you as well.
Thank you for having me. I have been very much looking forward to this for months now. I've been hearing about poetic art. I cannot wait to hear.
Really?
Yeah, I get all your feedback, sir. I've been waiting for it. So, it's going to be a good night. I can tell.
Wonderful. All right. Well, Poetic Art, why don't you tell the audience about yourself, what you want them to know, and we'll
Well,
get started there.
well, I am an author, a writer. I That's what my passion is to write. It's always been that. Although I have other passions and gifts as well, um, from painting to drawing. Um, I'm from California, born and raised in the city of Compton, to say the least. Um, I just love life, take everything easy. I take myself serious, but I don't take life serious like that. It's life is too short to really get caught up on the minutiae of all the woes and the sadness. So I just try to live as best as I can. And I think right now a little less is more. I really like to entertain questions more than anything else. So we can go from there.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. Well, if anyone have any questions, please offer them in the chat room. No problem. I'll open up the panel shortly. We'll get started with the title of the show, I guess, and then we'll move into um, more direct questions. Because if I don't get any right away, we're gonna move on. The title of the show is "How Much Time Is Needed as a Man," and it's been a
I have a
while.
question.
Oh, go right on ahead.
I do. I do. Because I'm a fellow writer, definitely not like really published myself or anything, but so I have an interest in this. So I guess my question would be, how did you first get into writing, and what age were you?
I first got into writing probably somewhere between 7 and 9 ish, somewhere around the third or fourth grade, I believe, somewhere. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so that's how it all started. And um, I was just born a mannish boy, and I just had a eye for the fairer sex. I didn't know why until I got older and could learn to articulate the reasons why.
Mm,
But it started at the early age. But it was not actually my first desire. I'm a natural artist and painter, like the rest of my brothers are as well. But I just got
mhm.
better at writing than anything else.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. And Poetic Art, why don't you will you tell us where your book can be purchased? I put a couple of places in the chat room, but before we move on, I wanted you to tell the audience.
Absolutely. As of today, my book is available in all formats through Barnes and Noble, Amazon, Kindle edition, Apple iBookstore, Kobo distributions. There's a worldwide distribution. Um, and my manufacturer, Lulu.com.
All right. Thank you so much for that. So, you guys hear that? Amazon and Barnes and Noble, all formats. The book is as low as $5 for I think the what was that? Because I looked it up. I had bought the actual book, but I do know there was a edition that was as low as $5. So I ask that you guys please support um, our guests. Um, I know at this particular time there's some things going on in the world, but if you do have $5 that you please can support our author. I appreciate it. Thank you so
So
much.
I just wanted to say the second link doesn't work.
It does not. It did before and it doesn't now. Wah, 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 because that's the link I used to purchase mine. Ain't that about something?
I
How
know,
dare
right?
it?
Because I can't use the Apple one because I'm not Apple. So I tried the second link, and then the
well,
page is no longer there.
you can always
Hmm?
go to Amazon if you're a Prime member, or Barnes and Noble. You can order it that way as well. Um,
Okay, okay.
and I don't know if Char has my information. You can always contact me, and I'll give you direct um, links to get it lickety split.
Awesome. Okay, great. I will do
All
that.
right. Cool in the game. Let me put this other thing here, Apple Books. I want to put that in there. Unfortunately, we have to actually put everything in here because if you do not, for some reason, people do not want to search. So that's why I want to stop
Hmm.
and type it in here. It is the truth. It's so unfortunate. You have to literally hand it to them on a platter.
It's
I
very
appreciate
true.
it. I appreciate it.
So I want to put it up there. You guys see that?
Hmm.
Appreciate it. Please support the brother. Um, that's why I ask that you support the channel whenever you can. Um, so I can get guests on, I can purchase their items, I can give them something because that's important to use their time to give to us. So thank you
Hmm.
so much. All right. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get started with the title. Now I do not recall, and don't don't blame me. I don't know who to blame it on, but this title came up in a conversation we had. How much time is needed as a man? I don't know if it was from some articles we were reading. Probably did, but I don't remember. But it is a great topic. Now, I can't answer this question because I am not a man, but with the experience I've had with men, they have told me that sometimes they need time to themselves. They need time to think, figure things out, and it's not that they're being mean or whatever. They just need time alone, not necessarily to say away from you as a mate, girlfriend, or anything, but they actually just need some time alone to think. Some guys like to go fish, and you wondering why they want to go out fishing, and it's just sitting on there for hours, just sitting there quiet. Hey, they want peace. They just want silence. Now, this is what I was told. Um, Also, in my personal life, a guy can just be still, be quiet, watch a game, sit there, not do nothing, and just be so content. I find nothing wrong with that. Don't disturb his groove. Poetic, would you like to weigh in on that?
Absolutely. I, I can speak for myself. silence for myself, that's the time where I can collect my higher thoughts, get answers to questions that I may have, plan out different things, and just to think. Most time it's like reflecting, everybody needs to have a recharge, and silence does that for me, and I would imagine for most men. It has nothing to do with anyone or anybody. So I know a lot of times, speaking from what I witnessed throughout my life and with others and myself, a lot of times we can't have this comparative thing as of when a female is quiet. Most times because they're upset about something, but that's not the case for men. Most times we're just thinking, and nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong at all. We're just thinking and just trying to get some peace of mind, just trying to get some peace because um, as society is for myself and has been my whole life. I mean, the stressors are heavy, very heavy, and sometimes you just need to reconnect with whatever your spiritual highness or your spiritual deity is to recharge yourself.
Now, can I play devil's advocate for a second? I want to play devil's advocate. I gotta play the other side, right? Because she's not here right now. But we all know there are women out there who are sitting there and they're thinking this right now. They're gonna say, well, if you can be silent with your friends, then why can't you just be silent with me? What if I promise I'll sit there and I'll just be silent with you? Why won't you give me the opportunity to be silent with you? Why isn't that good enough?
Well, if you're speaking to me as an individual, I don't have issues with that.
Let's say I'm speaking to you as your hypothetical significant other, because you are representing all men right now in this discussion.
Right.
And so,
Okay, but that's fine. That is fine if that is the case. Whoever this majestic person is, we both can be silent together. It's not. I don't have issues with that because me personally, I need silence because if the environment is too noisy, I can't receive answers that I need because I'm a thinker. I think things all the way out. Like I calculate, I say, okay, now I got the answer. But a lot of times, it don't have to be another person. I like driving in my car in silence. I don't have to listen to the radio because I'm trying to get answers to questions. And sometimes I'm trying to get answers to questions I don't even have yet.
okay.
But for myself, as you that was you asked the question, Ruby.
Yeah.
I have no issues with that whatsoever. I try to be as transparent as I possibly can be as it relates to that.
Okay. All right. I think that you are a special breed because I think most men would have an answer explaining why it is that he needs alone time that's silent that doesn't include her. Like,
No,
is that the case for you? Are there some times that it's like it's okay that it's silent with other people versus silent and you just really need to be in your own space?
it goes both ways. Sometimes you just need, and you have to be look at it like this. You're looking at the question is what is the duration of time that you're referring to? Because sometimes I may just need a quick 20-minute charge by myself. I don't need to spend a whole day or afternoon or anything like that. Because as much as I need silence, I'm not supposed to live in solitude either. The mind it does not should be not locked up in solitude as well. So you have counterbalance when that happens.
Mm. True.
But,
Okay.
but, I thought you loved me. Why don't you want to be around me? I'm not going to bother you. What you thinking about? You could tell me. You could talk to me. Why don't you talk to
Mhm.
me? I can help you. We can build together.
There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about. You have to understand. I am a bit of I don't know an outlier or an anomaly because I don't prescribe to the norms of the stereotypical men as it relates to this conversation. So I might not be the best person to speak with as it relates to this because I don't. It's no big deal to me. Life is very, very simple. It's not always easy, but it's very simple. So I don't have that problem. I never had.
Hmm. Well, I think Char brings up a good point because I do know a lot of women who would say that. Well, if you need to think, why don't you just share your thoughts and then she can help you think? Like, why do you have
Okay.
to think by yourself?
Well, you know what? To that I say, I will give everybody a chance. Okay, these are my thoughts, and predicated upon how your thought process is as it relates to mine. Either you're going to really get what I'm trying to say and assist me, or you're not going to have a clue, and it's become frustrating.
Mm.
But everybody gets a chance. I'm never going to be like, you know what? I don't want to talk to you about this, that, or the other. You know what? I will. Okay, this is what I'm dealing with right now. And are you listening to really assist me, or you just want to say what you got to say? And those are like some of the dynamics that you have to deal with.
But don't you
Right.
trust me? I thought you trust me. I just want to help. Why don't you just tell me everything? We can
See,
build.
I agree because here's the problem, right? Is I think in a way that answer is kind of like it's almost like setting her up to fail, right? Because the thing is that the first time someone's in your thought process, I don't care how understanding, unless they're like trained therapists or something, right? They're not going to be super great at necessarily interacting with your innermost thoughts and thought process. And their way of probably trying to help or whatever might not necessarily work well with yours unless you teach them how to do it. So I feel like by saying, okay, sure, I'll give you a shot at first. And then when they fail, because of course they're going to fail, then you go, see, that's why I need my alone time.
No, 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 no,
And
no, no.
now anytime she asks, you can
No,
be
no,
like,
no.
remember what happened last time, baby?
Okay, okay. You have to forgive me if it came off that way because that was not intimate at all. No, 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 no. I'm not finna just like, okay, let me hurry up and let her say what you got to say so I can say see and cut. No, 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 no. That's just not right.
Mm. Okay. So you'll give it an honest try. Like you will try to teach her and walk her through what it is that
You have
you
to
need from
remember.
her.
You have to remember if I'm engaging in a person at that level, there's already a level of connection that's going to be present. I'm not just going to placate her or just pander her off or anything like that. No. That cannot happen. Otherwise, me being who I am and thinking I can discern better, why are we even at this point anyway?
Hmm. Wow. I'm gonna think, I don't know. This is just me. I'm thinking a lot of the men inside the chat room are not agreeing with you. I haven't seen the chat room yet, but I'm thinking a lot of them do not agree with you. They're all
Well,
saying, why are you saying this? You're making us all look bad.
Ruby, what I am, I'm not a two-dimensional thinker either. I think I'm a three-dimensional thinker. I don't just think from the perspective of what I can see in the reaction. I perceive in everything that I can see and hear. I look at it from a complete 360 degrees. And I'm thinking well beyond what I'm actually looking at. And one thing for certain is I have to self-analyze myself. Everything that a man have issues with, they have to have a self-analyzation first. That's from my perspective. That's my opinion. And I'm not going to argue about that or not, but that's just how I live my life.
Right.
Why you need all that time to analyze? It's
Okay.
just a little problem. I can help you solve it. Why don't you just tell me? You don't never talk to me. You don't never tell me anything. That's all you have to do. We can talk.
You
But
must be
see, he's saying he would just tell her.
you must be speaking to someone else, Char, because that's not you.
No, I'm being that person on the
I know, I
panel
know.
that isn't here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know
See,
you're
yeah.
talking about.
Well,
See, and that.
I will help
Oh,
Ruby. I will help Ruby with her analytics and her decipheredness. I will be on the other side of the spectrum. And the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah, help with the analytics. It has nothing to do
Yeah,
with reality.
no. Like, because what he's saying is true. There are men that do that, but I will speak for maybe a good percentage, right? A lot of times we want to sit in silence and hear nothing because we don't want to think about nothing, right? We don't want to think about kids. We don't want to think about other men. We don't want to think about women. We don't want to think about nothing. We just want to ghost out and let our brains rest for a minute. Just rest, just nothingness, right? Because even when you're sleeping, your brain is actively moving, your dreams and stuff, and whatever troubles you got. So that 2, 3, 4 hours, even when a man is outside, like, if he has a hobby, right? That is that time, because if we're doing the hobby, right? Even when we're thinking, we're using a creative portion of our brain, and we're not worried about the troubles and the situations, because usually in our family dynamic, we're the problem solver, right? And just listening to your spouses or your counterparts' problems is solving a problem, right? Because they're bouncing off, they're venting on you, right? They're dumping stuff on you, right? And as a man, usually when we talk, right, especially to our female counterparts in a relationship, they want to return the favor and they want to help fix the problem. And we don't want you to fix it. We just want to vent, right? And the problem is that certain times we just want to vent, but then we look at you and then we realize something. I am weak right now. She looks at me for protection. I need to fix this on my own, right? And this is a cognate thing, I guess. Like, women have their thing, right? They have their thing when it comes to protection of the household, the children, and stuff like that. Men have that thing about weakness to a certain degree and venting all the time. So we try to get to a point where it's just us. We detach. We move everything out the way. We let our brains completely clear it out. We self-reflect. We go. And when we do talk, we always, even when we ask we talk about the situation when we're finally ready with our counterparts, with our spouse counterparts, when we're talking, we already got the answer in our head, but we want to hear maybe a better answer or a way to tweak what we got to make it better so it can happen. Or we want you fully on board and back in the decision that is made, right? Any one of those options, or even if there's some combativeness, we can bounce it off of you because you should know what's the best within that scenario. But give us that time to do that, because men will vent with other men. Like, surprisingly, men are good listeners. They're just not good talkers with a lot of things. Surprisingly, like, as much as women say we don't listen, we do. We may have a data dump, but we do that. But men do vent with other men. There's and I'm sure the brother here can expound on that. When we're around each other's circles, there's that friend that always comes around. He's got a problem. He just vents. And everybody just sit there. If they got a drink in their hand, they just give them that look, and just let them vent. And then we'll ask them a question. Do you want to feel good, or you want the truth? and when he said, right now, man, I just want to feel good. All right, man, continue. It just he goes and goes and goes and goes. And then, all right, man, enough with the belly ache. From my perspective, you need to do this. What you say? Oh, I say this, bro. And everybody drop in the bucket. And then after that, he stopped talking about it. We move on to something else. We talk about the game. We talk about current events. And we talk about other things. But men do need that time to reflect, or they need that time for meditation, just to think about nothing, to wipe the slate clean so they can attack whatever problems that they have, or whatever inconsistencies in their life, or whatever they need to get ready for, so they can be better for the family, to be a pillar of strength for the family. That's it.
Well, I want to help. You shutting me out. Why don't you let me help? I can help. Why won't you let me help? I understand all those things that you said, but I can help you think too. And when you say you want to have your mind just blank, that seems to me that you're trying to run away from the problem.
How did you
Mm,
how did you derive that? Explain the sequence of
mm.
got you to that way of thinking.
Again, I'm only acting. I have to be that person that isn't here.
Well,
Just
because
saying.
that's what women do, right? So women are like they're social creatures. They're very very social creatures, and they are socialized from young, but they're also made to process out loud, right? And so when a woman doesn't want to talk about something, I mean really doesn't want to talk about it, she didn't talk to her friend, don't talk to her sister, don't talk to her mama, won't talk to you, won't talk to no one about it, that's exactly what she's doing. She's running from it. She's not taking healthy space away from it. She's not taking her time to deal with it silently, piece by piece, or whatever. She's running because most women process out loud with people. So they take them and their psychology and they apply it to men, and they go, well, if that's what I'm doing, then that must be what you're doing. And they can't really fathom that they're wrong about that.
Well, that's human nature across the board when we behave like that, because that's like a liar thinks everybody lies. So, but there
Mm,
just be a middle ground, because there is a necessity for the relationship being that way, for that energy that a woman possess, as well as for the energy that a man's possess. So there is a necessity for that. It's trying to find a balance.
mhm, mhm. I think too, it depends on what a woman's upbringing is, right? Like if you don't really have the social upbringing for you to have observed it in your father and your brothers and your uncles, and you get to see that it's not a threat to the family well-being, right?
Agree.
So your parents are still together 30, 40 years later, and daddy needs alone time in his cave and whatever, and everything's okay. I think that that's when people start, mixing up that message.
I agree. That's a prevalent point.
Mm,
Majority of the things that we're dealing with as our adult life is based upon our experiences, mainly from our childhood. One of the
mhm,
first one of the first things I ask anyone is like, "What is your relationship with your father?"
right.
Hmm.
So
Or do
then does that
you
explain,
just
does your childhood explain why you are, I guess, not, I'm going to say like the majority of men, whereas you're okay with doing that process out loud thing?
oh yeah, my childhood explains that. I I have come from a big family. I'm the middle son and the middle child, but that really has no relevance, I don't think. But I was most people had a sibling in their proximation. I had nobody in my proximation. It was just me.
Mm, mhm,
A lot of the things I dealt with was by myself, but I still saw the value of how my mother and father interacted,
Hmm.
highs as well as lows, and I could discern what to take from that and what to discard.
mm, okay, makes sense.
Well, can I like to ask the brother a question? Do you with the self reflection, right? Because like I'm an only child, but I can be in a group in a room full of people,
Uh-huh.
and I can act like they're not there, right?
Uh-huh.
Like I can sit in a room full of people, and when I get in my thoughts, I'll just act like they're not there. I
Uh-huh.
can, like so a lot of I notice a lot of men that come from a bigger family that say they need that alone time or they need that time of reflection and stuff like that. They when you come from a big family, I've noticed, like from my uncles and aunts and stuff like that, is when I was around them, they their room was the only thing they had, and I could see the difference because it's a big family dynamic. Is that a lot of men that come from those families don't know about that isolation or that solitude because everybody's on top of each other, and especially with there are more women than men in the family.
I could see that. I could see where that could be valid, but as it relates to myself, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Because I even amongst the household, at any given time, there's at least eight children in the house. As some got older, new ones were born. So, um, my thing was,
Wow.
I knew it was crowded then, and I just needed to get away from all of the noise. That's how I was. Even as a child, I like solitude. I like being in my imagination. I could escape and be anywhere in the world at any given time just on my imagination. Um, so, and we had a very huge family, extended as well. But no, I've always been this way. I was just that different kid, different child. Um, and all of my siblings, if you talk to them, I've just always been different that way. I don't
I
understand some
know.
of.
Go ahead.
I said I don't understand some of the things um, that reason why I do this or do that. By and large, yes, I do, but some things are yet to be discovered or answered. You know.
Hmm. I noticed watching some old movies or whatever that the guys would at that time they were building tree houses. Not so popular now, but the old shows will show where a guy would or a young boy would have the tree houses and just want to get away, either by himself or sometime with his friends. So I see it happen as young as maybe 11, 12 years old,
Mhm.
where boys just, want to kind of separate. Um, Now, as far as personally, what I've noticed in relationships, I did mention something earlier, but guys do need that time, whether it's alone with their boys, they just need that. And there's nothing wrong with it. But women, a lot of times, they don't get it. They think that it's an issue with the relationship, um, whether it's trust, secrets, what are you trying to keep from me? Um, you don't trust that I can help you, all those type of things. And there are a lot of women that just want to be under a man all the time. They
Mhm.
don't have their own individual thoughts. They don't know how to enjoy hobbies and time with their friends and all of that. Sometimes when they get a guy, they leash on to him and they smother him. I've
Mhm.
seen that a lot.
Yes.
Some women just cannot live without a man. I mean, they're going to go hunt if their spouse, something happened to their spouse or significant other Monday, they're out Tuesday because they just cannot be alone. And some of them have picked some bad guys just to have a human male around. And that could be, as we mentioned earlier, something to do with them growing up. That could affect that as well. Could be.
Mhm.
But we have
Mhm.
to be able to respect each other's boundaries.
That's an interesting, now that you brought it up, it makes me wonder. So, poetic art. when you're in a relationship, right? Do you need dedicated guy time? Like, because you don't necessarily need dedicated silence time if she's willing to do that with you, or think things out with you productively. But do you need dedicated guy time, like where you're just chilling with your friends and she just happens not to be there?
Um, to say that I need it, I don't necessarily need it. I appreciate it, but I don't need that. I'm like self-sustaining energy for myself. I really don't. When I'm around my friends, I truly enjoy it. But if I didn't have that immediate or every Friday night poker game or whatever to go to, I'm still cool. I'm content. I'm happy being with me.
Mm.
So you're able to disengage even though people are around you or your significant other is with you, in other words.
I don't need a. So let's say that Ruby and I are at a party. I don't need
Uh-huh.
Ruby to babysit me. I can float around and be cool like that, or we can just chill at the same time, conversate with other people at the same time. Either way
Now,
it goes, I'm good.
now what happens if she follows you around? She's holding on your arm because in her mind, oh, I don't want you looking at anyone else or whatever may be in her mind. How do
Well,
you deal with that?
we enjoy the evening still, and we'll address those things later.
Okay, so it is an issue. You just address it later. Okay. Just checking.
Right?
Because it didn't come off that way at first.
Rational behavior. That's why I say that.
Okay.
See, I'm gonna help you out, Ruby, because Ruby, I watch Ruby. Ruby's petty, right? Ruby give you these questions, and there's only a couple of answers, right? But I'm gonna be on the other side, and I'm gonna say this: the dedicated guy time is for the masculine energy, right? Um, when you're with a woman, you get married and stuff like that. For a man, you have to because especially when there's children involved, you have to pull back a lot of your masculine energy for certain reasons, and that masculine energy is actually exuded completely a lot of the times outside of the home as the protection, right? In the home, right, the house belongs to the woman. Like that's basically how it works, right? Like we have this running theme, right? I've never been to a woman's house that didn't have pictures or decor up on her walls or anything like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most men, they don't care about that. They'll put up their trophies and stuff like that, or their conquests, like what I'm saying, but they're not just going to make the house look a certain way or change it around or stuff like
I
that.
will.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm like that's why I said most men, most, right? But at the same time, you can tell a house that a woman's in or have been in on a frequent basis, right? Anybody can tell that. It's just a different feel about it. It's just something different, right? That a woman brings that type of energy to that house. It's more welcoming. It's more homey. It's more motherly. It's just something there, right? But if this is the case, how does a man get to exercise his masculine energy and to basically feel that need of that energy to base it off? And in certain cases, and most men in cases, you have to be around other men, right? And you be around other men of other of statures in life, right? In different points, different phases. Men that are younger than you a little bit, men that are just starting their journey. If you're married, men that have been married for years, because you can get some advice. You can just being around them, you can see, okay, for me to have a healthy relationship, right? You know what I'm saying? You got to go forward, right? You have to how should I say it? Look at your elder, right? Like you be around a man that's been married for like 20 years and you're just in 10 years of your relationship, right? And you can bounce ideas off him and ask him for advice. But this is how a man would handle it, not necessarily a woman would handle it, right? But at the same time, I can understand what the brother is saying, because if you are more of a solitary person and a self-reflective person, being around people, just talking or whatever, it does take a lot of energy. You know what I'm saying? It does take a lot of energy because you don't want to, come off pompous. You don't want to me being around other men, especially being an only child myself, and being around people, it checks me into the social dichotomy of how to deal with people, right? Because sometimes you get in your head so much and you start solving your own problems so much that you forget the social exchange of when you want to interact with people. You might come off, dare say it, narcissistic or know it all or whatever.
Right. That's true.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, I have another question.
Indeed.
In general, do you see? Okay, I guess do you have a type of woman that you tend to pick? So, for example, like the she's basically like one of the boys types of girls, or a really like high class prissy girl, or like do you have a type of girl that you tend to, or woman rather, that you tend to be gravitated towards and want to spend time with?
Are you asking me this or just DeAndre?
Oh no, I'm asking you. I know just DeAndre.
Um, I can't say because there's different attributes about myself that connects me with several personalities. There's one point in my life where I was just connected to this hood chick, but she was just so smart, and I intellectually was stimulated, but her behavior was like, eh. And then there is the type where, for lack of a better word, um, the young lady was a real bitch. However, I mean, like, was the nicest person to me, you know. But sooner or later, however a person treats others is going to come to you. So,
Mhm.
but I don't necessarily have one type. I would have a fusion or a tapestry of a whole lot of types because I'm a different. I have so different layers of who I am and what I like that I gravitate to a whole collection of type of women.
See, and I think this is so. You know why, Kate? I asked because I'm trying to see if, besides just you're just that different, whether why it is, are there maybe factors about the girl or the women that you tend to choose that might be why you have these answers? Because, for example, tell you a brief story. So my husband was the type of person who never went out with his girlfriends ever, like to the point where no one ever saw them. He'd be dating them for like 8 years. No one had ever seen this woman's face. And then me, like when he met me, like I told him, I'm like, listen, I don't roll like that. I don't do your life is your life, my life is my life, and then we meet in between on Saturdays or something. I don't do that. So like if you're not good with that, that's cool. Date someone else. Um, and so, he came out to my well, back then we were at the bars a lot. So he came out to my bar, then I went out to his bar, and we were literally, together all the time. And I'm basically like, one of the boys kind of girls. And, to the point where like every time he wanted to go out, not only would he want to bring me, but his friends would be like, "You're coming, right?" And I'm like, I would have to put my foot down and be like, "No, I think you need some boy time. Like you need to go be boys, not worry about me." He's like, "I don't worry about you." And I'm like, "I know, but you need that time." Right. And like almost force it on him. And when I tell people that story, they say, "Yeah, but it's because of the kind of woman that you are specifically. That's why he felt that way." And, thinking about it, I'm like, well, that's true. He wasn't really like that before me. So then I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe you pick women who are more like me, which in that case, like, you wouldn't really feel the need to necessarily separate from them because y'all don't have to go to a party glued together 24/7. And, she's cool. You could just be yourself. You don't have to hide anything, to be around her or whatever. And, all the different kinds of things that I think that, men tend to worry about or not worry about, but just rather they don't have to worry about when they don't bring her out with them. So, I was wondering, hey, maybe that's the scenario. I don't know, I'm trying to figure out, because it's like you're such an anomaly, speaking like in general, you're an anomaly to me. I'm trying to figure it out. It's awesome. Like I think it's an awesome anomaly. Don't. But I'm just saying,
Okay, so let me tell
you're one in a million.
you, it isn't awesome. It isn't.
No.
And no, it's not. Sometimes I wish I was a little bit different in the way that um, the norm or the baseline of most people, but I'm not that way. I would just like to sometimes shut it off and just be like a regular person. But fortunately, that was not my path and journey in life. But you hit the nail on the head that people just have to be who they are, you know. And most times, because the question is how long should it, how long? What does it show? How long does it take, or how much time does a man need?
Yeah, how much time
It,
is a
I
man? Yeah.
think a man needs enough time, and this will go for both ways. For women, you need enough time where you will stop pretending and just
All
be.
right.
Because a lot of times people don't really change; they just stop pretending. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of energy to not be yourself. A lot
Mm,
of energy.
I agree with you on that.
That
I
is
agree.
that I'm like that is what I'm. But what he's saying is absolutely true. Is just the difference. I can say with poetic here is that most men act the way he's acting. Well, that he does, but he just does it openly with I mean, he doesn't care. Like that's just who he is. Where most men, because of social norms, they don't really show that. What I mean? They don't feel comfortable because it takes the right woman to pull a man to a situation where he's going to show them that, like all parts of him in that point, right? Because the only person that knows all parts of him is the first woman that he's ever going to have a relationship with, and that's his mother, right? Because there are two types of women that what I mean, that a man is with that makes him evolve for good or for bad, right? He can go one way or the other, right? However way you want to look at it. And
Mhm.
it's the mother and it's the wife. Well, in this day and age, since people don't want to get married, it's the long-term girlfriend, forever my fiance, right? but
Oh yeah.
so you know, um, but all men do that, but they just reserve it. Just like all women don't let you know everything. They don't, like, you have to peel it off over years and stuff. Like it's stuff my wife is interested in, and we've been together for going on 17 years that she's just let me get in there with. Like, no, things that she knows. And does it kind of hurt a little bit? Yeah, but then at the same time, she's just finding out things about myself, but I'm finding out things about myself at the same point. Now,
Very
my
good.
wife knows I'm a jerk. I'm a jerk. I but but most men will take their time to let you know that, and you can tell um, if he's really interested in you if he lets you know. Like if within the time that you're within a deep relationship, you should know enough about that man because he will tell you how much you know about him by him proposing to marry you to that point, right? If Because he feels as though that's enough for right now. It's a bartering of services, basically. I tell you something about me, you tell you something about you. I feel obligated to tell you something about myself. And most women that I've met do this. We'll talk, I'll listen, they'll tell me something that I should feel that I'm the only one that should know, but I shouldn't know it because we should be that close. And then once I know it, I am now obligated to tell them something about myself that only my closest confidants should know about me or family members. So it's like this. It's like this interrogation. It's like this mutual negotiation of being interrogated, right? And that's what this is, because you want to make sure that the person that you're sharing this with is great. Like, you want to make sure that you don't do this more than once. It's like, it's not a do-over thing, right? And even if the money wasn't involved in it with the divorce rates and stuff like that, just the emotional baggage and the investment into it, because time, you can't get that back. You can get money back, but you can't get time back. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Yeah, can't get a refund on time.
Time can
That
be
is
your
the
best
truth.
ally, but it can be your worst enemy.
I
Yeah,
want I
go
wanted to
ahead.
say something to the brother because he said something, right? And I like to be the translator.
Uh-oh.
And with the brothers, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, so we don't get this misconstrued. So what the brothers basically saying is this, right? That there isn't a particular type as far as personality. Is just the interest of. Is that correct? Because you gave examples of the sister that she was, quote unquote, would you say ghetto, but she was very smart.
Right.
She was very sharp and savvy, right? And then there was another woman that she probably had herself together, but she was very bitchy, but not with you. And you, that was in the back of your mind because you're using logic with this, with how this works. Like, okay, she's ghetto, she's smart, but then we're missing something. Can I get?
It's like this, just DeAndre. One of the best questions my father taught me and my brothers is this: whatever the relationship, whatever the conversation is, you have to ask this one question to yourself and then to them: what's the end game? If the end game is not to where you can envision it to be, then that's a situational problem. Because it's all fun in the process, but if I don't see that, you know what, this is not going to play itself out in the best way. So a lot of times you're like, let me go ahead and jettison sooner than later, as amicable as possible can be. But the end game has to always be in your front of your mind, not the back of your mind, the forefront. Okay, where are we going? What is this all about? Because sometimes we try to put a square in a triangle and it just won't work, regardless of how much you like or find this person intriguing or infatuated or whatever the adjective is. So
Whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me
Push
ask
it.
a
Push
question.
it real good. You're right.
Because just to stay in topic with this, in your practice, right?
right.
How long, right? Would you say for a man? Because most men, this is the struggle part of correctly, as an adult, breaking off of an encounter with of your female of a person that you're in a relationship with. We don't do that well. We really don't do it well, especially in this day and age with this internet and this stuff like that.
Right.
So, what would be a time frame that you would say, and the correct way to do it?
A time frame? Well, the time frame is always sooner than later once you have identified that. The correct way is all predicated to yourself and that person. Only you know the trigger points, or she knows the trigger point. But if you want to relate to any type of real life dynamic, you want to take care to pull it off as fast and let the healing begin.
Well, let me because what I was always told by people that was older than me was if you're gonna do it, do it in the most respectful way possible. Go to a public place.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, go to a public
Any
place.
witnesses around?
You got
Just asking.
middle of the day coffee shop and actually have the conversation as two adults, and cut off all ties, not be friends, because the friends thing is just it doesn't help with the whole.
Check this out, DeAndre. As it relates to myself,
Yeah.
I tend to let things go on longer than this shit.
Okay. All right.
Until I personally am violated. And then that right there is like, because I'll be honest with you, a lot of times I may not have the necessary strength or the ability to. But like clockwork, they never let me down. And they do something to
This is hilarious.
Hold on. What? So, all right. So what and that's what I was talking about. That's what because a lot of times, what I would do myself is it's only been like 4 times in my lifetime where I did the initial breaking up. Right? It was always okay. I gotta figure out a nice way to have her break up with me so it's easier for both parties. Right?
Honk. Oh, that's the worst.
Right? Without cheating. Without cheating, well, I don't call it cheating because we're not married anyway. Like if you're married, you can't be doing both. You can't be fornicating and doing adultery at the same time. It doesn't work like that. But without us in a situation where because men take it hard too, right? Men take it hard, but once we out. It's just the physical part that and that pretty much is already being replaced as we speak, as this is happening, right? There's always somebody waiting in the wings that you don't know about that's ready to hop. So we're not hopping out of something without being, because it's hard to get back in if you're not connecting with the balls, you ain't getting on no bases. Like it's like so I think, and this is just me personally, and just speaking from personal experience, is that the 4 times I had to do it, it was past the red line. Somebody was going to jail, and I could see that it, like you said, it went on a little bit longer than it's supposed to. But usually, when in that situation, me personally, I usually just back off. I just let the person do whatever they do. I get kind of really short with the person with certain things. I get busy with stuff, and I actually get busy with something that's actually positive. Like this, not busy with another female or nothing like that, because that causes all types of problems. But just me. Ruby says she's like, that's the worst. Hold on, Ruby. I know you.
I've never done that before. Never done that before.
It's the worst because wait, if you see, I hate that. I hate when people are too chicken shit to just break up with people. So rather than just saying, listen, I'm out, because they're out now, they're done. No, they're basically going to force the other person into doing it for them. I can't stand that. Oh my God, I think it's like the worst thing in life. Like,
Ruby,
oh
we're
my
going
God.
to teach them. We just got to teach them. Just go ahead and tell us.
But Ruby and Char, you two are special. You're unicorns. You think logically. You don't get into arguments and agitate and stuff like that. Like there's The problem is when men get to that point and they're done, they're done. Now women can do the same thing, but they give you chances and stuff like that. Not all, but some. Not all, but some.
What he's saying is, once you check out mentally, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe
Right.
that.
Yeah. And if the other person hasn't checked out mentally, right, and they're still emotionally invested, right, and you just cut it off, right, and the way the way women emotionally invest, not all, most, right, they invest. It's like a person that's hooked on to a drug. That first initial stage of a relationship is like you want to see the person every day. You think about them when you wake up. You send them messages. You talk to them. You fall asleep on the phone. You hear each other, little stuff about each other, and then you cut that off after like 3 months to 6 months or a year in. Oh God. You know what I mean? Not to say it's going to be the worst case scenario of tires being slashed, bricks being thrown through car windows, cars being scratched up and stuff like that. But the fact of the person still will subconsciously run into you. The awkwardness of it all. Like, you know what I mean? Like you have the same friends. You're on Facebook. You're seeing this. It's crazy. Yep. That's what it is. That right there. And that's what men are afraid of, because we feel like we didn't. You wouldn't have to go through this problem if we would have chose better. It would have been better if we would have
nail on the head.
Yeah. You wouldn't have to hurt
nail on the head.
Well, at least you're typical somehow, Poetic Art. All right, go ahead.
No, because
Better find some way you're typical.
you have to practice discernment with yourself first, and with whoever you're in a relationship with. You have to ask the right question, the pertinent question. This is when I go back into saying that people stop pretending, because you can manufacture a whole persona that is completely the opposite of who you are.
But then, see, what men don't realize is that, see, these like half, I wouldn't say more than half, about 3/4 of these really psycho chicks, the ones who end up cutting up everything and burning things down and all that stuff, they didn't start there, right? And see, what we're forgetting,
type of guy.
it was these guys who play with them. And you think, well, if I didn't cheat on her, well, that's not playing with her. Oh, no. This is playing with her too. When she puts her everything into it and she's believing in it and she can't figure out why it's not going to work. And it's because it's not going to work because you're already done. See, even if you never expose that to her later, that adds to her feelings of frustration, of being played with, because women aren't stupid. They have intuitions about things, whether you want to confirm them or not, right? And she's going to bring all of that baggage into her next relationship, and then by the time she gets to the third one out and she got played with in 2 different ways, that next guy, oh, he's getting his tires slashed, his apartment burned down, his clothes cut up. Oh, he's getting everything because she's not doing this again. She's not playing these games again. She's not falling in love again. And then the worst thing in the world, like, I know that it doesn't seem this way. It doesn't, right? But the reason why women are acting a lot of the ways that they are is because of all the game playing. And it's like, yeah, the truth hurts, but the truth is better than the game.
But it's okay. You know why? Because in my opinion, you got to go hard body with a woman for about 2 years. In 2 years, ain't that much acting you're gonna do that I can't see.
That's true. Well, I mean, defense mechanisms are a bitch, though. Like, I mean, you could have some real defense. And see, that's the thing. Just because a defense mechanism comes out, that's not really her, right? That's the defense mechanism protecting the soft, vulnerable part of her, right? So
I get all of that, and I understand that, but everybody has to have their own individual time frame of what they will tolerate and how long they'll do that. Because I know myself, there's just so much I'm not going to tolerate. Like, okay, I see that this is how you are, and I'm honest. I don't have the duration of time to deal with this. You go east and I go west. You have a nice day, and we can just split and it go it's even, it's even. You know, I don't believe in this violent dynamic or this make up to break up stuff. No, no, no. All that dynamic is too much for the soul, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you on that one. I'm not really into that dynamic either. But see, I think that again, it adds. I know someone who that's been happening to for, oh my God, I can't even tell you all the ways that that relationship's a disaster. Last I checked, they're in. Wait, are they still engaged and living together, or have they broken up again? I'm not really sure, but I don't know. It just keeps happening. They keep one upping, like they'll up the ante, and then the next breakup will be even worse. And they've been doing this for like 15 years. Right, so
Ruby,
I've always thought that.
as what you just said, because I am a math and science person,
Mhm.
and I do a lot of human dynamic relationship as it relates to mathematics. And when you have that, when you have quote unquote two negative people are always going to get along. That going back and forth, they like that because negative and negative is a positive situation to them. Just like you have two positive people is going to work out. But you got that positive negative, oh, that's like combustible. It's definitely a negative situation.
Yep. Oh, that much. See, this is why I think on average, high school relationships are meant to be high school relationships, right? They're meant to live and die, their glorious lives in high school. See, this is one of those high school relationships that refuses to stay dead once it dies over and over again. Right? But like, and when you look at this chick, right, she's a shell of her former self. She's a shell of the woman I met 10 years ago, let alone who she was when, she met him. Because the thing is, he doesn't want her. He doesn't want her, but he just doesn't want anyone else to have her. But she desperately wants him. And so she's figured out this game. So he'll drop her when he's tired of her. And then she'll just start kind of, play acting like she's got another man on Facebook. And then, yeah, he'll come back and scoop her back up because he doesn't want her to have anyone else. He just doesn't want her at all. And he doesn't want to be faithful. He doesn't actually want this chick. It's a really sad dynamic you see happening. And I'm like, this girl's psychotic crazy. Like, she's crawled into his basement window. She's cut up his stuff. All the crazy stuff that you mentioned girls will do. Like, she's done that stuff. But she didn't start there. And everyone says she didn't start there. She was the girl who you heard her, she'd cry. She cried, she talked to her friends, blah, blah, blah. The problem was him convincing her to come back every time. I promise things are going to change. And, this time would be different. No, I swear, baby, I got help this time. Da, 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 da. Right. And her stupid ass believes him. And then there's that whole sunken time thing. Because, I sunk so much time. I sunk 5 years. I sunk 7 years. I don't want to throw away 9 years. Right. This is just, it's like, it becomes this cycle. That's why I'm like, when I hear guys that just like, bro, you don't want her. The second you figure that out, be like, listen, it's not me, it's you. I gotta go, deuces. Or you can even say it the opposite way. Fine, cool, you want to be nice. But the point is, leave her alone because she's the emotional one. That's true. And yeah, there might be some fallout for you, but let's think about the demon beast you are creating by playing the game.
See, I understand what you're saying, Ruby, but the point is he kept coming back. We're talking about once you're gone, you're gone. Like, right? So usually
they create their own ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly. Like exactly, like Poetic say, it's that ecosystem is dysfunctional, right? Her low self-esteem, his controlling of the narrative of what he wants to do, her enabling the controlling by keep coming back and doing that.
So the point is she won't leave. See how, like, that's the whole thing. The game that you play where you try to get her to break up, it doesn't matter what you do to her, she's not leaving. See, this is the problem, which forces him to leave. So then the loop isn't working.
Yeah, well, but they still revolve around each other, right? So it's like I said, like it's her low self-esteem meeting someone that's toxic like that with that controlling mechanism, and then she keeps going back into it, right? And it's he wants her as the support, he wants her as the ego boost, right? Because let's put it like this, right? Cuffing season is a thing, right? I say this a lot, right? Cuffing season is a thing. right?
Uh-huh.
And for if a guy doesn't have a woman or a female friend or a friend with benefits or some woman where he's getting that feminine energy from to a level where he has the opportunity to take it to the next level of being in a relationship. If he doesn't have none of that, it is hard to get a woman. Hard. Like it's for some reason you are shooting and you ain't hitting Nathan, right?
Mhm.
Most dudes, right? But if you keep that woman in the wings, that friend, you know she likes you, you know she's got a crush on you, but you keep her like right there at that cusp of she's perfect, she's the best woman for you, but she ain't what you want. You keep her right there, you can attract, right? You get, you know what I'm saying, you get more flies with honey, you know, sugar than not shit, right? So if you ain't got nothing, don't. It's like it's this weird thing about everything, right? Like you'll hear guys say it a lot, man. Until I got a girl, one no chicks trying to holler at me. Now that I got a girl, everybody trying to holler at me, right?
Yeah.
And for women, if you look above average, right, you're getting offers all the time. Now, whether you're receptive to those offers is a whole different ballgame. So for a man to have a woman falling all over him, that is an addictive adrenaline boost for your ego that
Mhm.
women don't understand this, right? Because y'all get dulled to it after a certain point. Because if you're pretty, if you look good, you know, and certain like that, not you know what I mean, but most women, if they look pretty and they're above average and they put themselves together, they get these advances all the time. You know what I'm saying? Negative, positive, or whatever. Men,
Right.
for us, it's an ego boost because we're always the hunters, right? And
Right.
we're always the hunters, and you don't release whatever you caught. You don't release and just leave it there. You put it back in its environment so it can swim off and do what it does.
It's the it's the top of the hour. I'm going to play a short commercial,
Mm-hmm.
about 30 seconds, I would say. I'm gonna share my screen and get
Good
on
deal.
into it. All right. I meant to do no audio, but I did the audio.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did last time. Sorry. But anyway, I'll tell you what the commercial was. It is I put in the chat room, it is GSRN, Global Sensation Radio, with DJ Music. His co host on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And he has a segment called On the Beat. And we talk about stuff in the news, what's been happening, whatever. And it's a lot of fun. He plays music in between. If you're looking for mumble rap, then this isn't the place for you. I'll tell you that now. It would not be the place for you. But it's
Wow.
great. And again, it's in the chat room. Check it out when you can. And back to our scheduled program.
Yeah, it's. I think as in the economy of how we used to do things, back years ago, with the newer generation, because they're the ones that are now become socially awkward because everything's done over the internet. All business is put out on social media. Like, you know, people look at people's relationship status on a typo underneath their social media profile, right? Where people knew that you were together because they saw you. They saw you, right? Um, and nowadays, breaking up, now they don't even do the very basics of meeting and talking, or let that person kind of find themselves and kind of figure it out, or let that person call you to task and ask you, where are we going from here? What's our status? We need to talk, or something like that. You just see them with another person on social media. They like unfriend, unfollow, and the next thing you know, someone to click the picture, or they done snap the photo with their new girlfriend or boyfriend or something like that. And then they want to know why people bricks being thrown in the windows, and tires are being slashed and all types of other stuff because the whole world knew before they knew. And that's why I asked the brother Poetic if there's people that are in this newer generation, the social media age, um, what are the things, because a lot of men are they don't really know that they're enabling a lot of these feelings and this behavior without being forthright and coming up and saying what they need to do. You know what I'm saying? Because it is getting very, 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 very questionable out here. Very questionable with being in relationships with our female counterparts. Because before, a broken tail light, a busted window, cut up your clothes. But now with this new Me Too thing, you can lose everything.
Yeah, it's more of a microwave society. So it's like instant gratification. There's no learning phase. The reality in this day and time, the shelf life of a new relationship is 3 months at the most.
3 months?
3 months. Because with the new generation, they are perpetually thrill seeking that euphoric newness. And one of the things that you have to remember, if you're in a real relationship, you have to submit to the fact that monotony is your norm.
Yep. Netflix.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, and I wouldn't doubt if the time frame has gotten shorter. I do know that when we're talking about that newness, it's that infatuation phase, which will last anywhere from 8 months to 18 months. So that is kind of the expiration date you're looking towards at a maximum, right? Because after a minimum of 18 months, maximum of 18 months, you don't feel those new infatuation, oh my god, I can't breathe without you kind of feelings. So at that point, if something real hasn't been set, if there's a real foundation in contentment and enjoyment, if you don't actually want to be there for the enjoyment of that person and the relationship you guys have built, then yeah, it's going to be on to the next.
Yeah. This with this virus thing has because with a lot of things, there's bad parts to everything, but there's also some good parts. And the good parts of this is that people are forced not to be within each other's airspace that they took for granted. Right? Now people, when they come out of this, right, because they were complaining like, man, like, this new social standard of kind of staying away from people and pushing, and because of the virus thing, you're going to see more people, maybe in the next 6 months after this thing calms down, they're going to be actually more in each other's airspaces. They're going to be actually seeking out physical,
interaction.
Yeah, just the physical interaction, because I've seen people go on a whole date and they'll be on their phones the whole time.
So are you saying they're going to be looking for bang, bang, bang? Is that what you're trying to say?
Just to be able to be well, that too, birth rates are down, so that too, that's going to happen. You two people stuck in the house with each other, they even going to kill each other. They're going to make some little people. Like it's the bad thing about this virus that it happens, but the good thing that it helps us detach a little bit from what technology was there. The intent of the technology was to connect people across greater distances, so you have more options. The problem is that people it's easier to cut a person off by changing your email address, blocking them on Facebook. You couldn't block your neighbor. You still had to see your neighbor. So you were forced to coexist with your neighbor. Right? And then if you start doing that with someone you may have a relationship with in a cyberspace, and then you start cutting yourself off from regular people you walk down the street with, it puts us as human beings in this weird state, right? And actually, this virus actually starts to reset a lot of things, especially when it comes to relationships. I've noticed that people are very much um they're trying to make up for lost time. They're I'm over here and people are going to restaurants. They're putting their phones in their pockets. They're putting them like they're making sure the phone's in the pocket, it's in the bag, it is off because this is the time I got to spend with this person before we got to go back in the house and lock down. I get some air, I get to be out and stuff like that. So they're going to see their loved ones, their parents, families are getting together that normally wouldn't get together. You're seeing communities come together. People go and get things they wouldn't talk to their siblings for years. You're getting a reconnection because, um, unfortunately, tragedies bring people together, right? Is just one of those things, and I think this is actually setting it. It's bringing us back together as in the humane point. That's just me.
Okay. Um, I had mentioned communication earlier, and definitely last week because I had mentioned during the opening that I had an exchange with a cashier that really was an exchange because it was silent. I mean, I was supposed to be a mind reader, and I happened to come across a call of customer service, and I thought it was an excellent call, and I said I would share it because you know how you can't get good customer service. A lot of companies said, "Hey, you got to push one for this, one for that," and they didn't have an actual person. Then when they did have a call center, it's normally out of India. So I want to share that with you. Some of you may find it interesting. Some of you get angry because you have had this experience. So here goes.
Are you ready for your confirmation number? Sure, go ahead. Okay, it's gonna be A as in apple. Okay. B as in Peter. What? B as in Peter. You mean B as in boy? No, I mean B as in Peter, not B as in boy. I said B, not B. Huh? I said B, not B. Okay, whatever. Then it's going to be the letter O as in the occupation of the Palestinian people. What? Excuse me? Okay, then it's going to be the letter H. What was that? H. H. As in etch a sketch? H. H as in Harry. H. Oh, H. Yeah, H. 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 Fine. Okay. Then finally gonna be the number six. What the hell? The number six. Sir, I cannot understand anything that you are telling me. Six. Well, six. Or what you're saying I can't count? Six. Six. Sir, we have complete. Fine. You want me to count? I'll count to 100 for you, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. Okay? I can count to fucking 100. All right, sir. No need to. Well, I can count. Okay? All right. I got it. Okay. Would you like me to repeat that for you? Shit.
And there you go.
Yeah, yeah. I
That is
That
what
was
you get.
so ignorant. Oh
like,
my god, that was so ignorant.
but the crazy part is, I have so many different cultural friends. For some reason, I understood exactly what the Indian guy was saying. I have Indian friends. I understood. Once he said seconds, I knew he meant six.
I
Like,
did too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like when he said like it sounded like B, but it was P. When he said Peter, I was like, all right, he meant P. Okay, all right, all right. He said H. Okay, all right, that's H. Okay, I got it. All right. It's like I caught it. I got it. But yeah, yeah, yeah. The guy was. Whoo! I got to give that guy credit for being that. I was waiting for the white guy to just get racist. That's what like
Okay.
yeah, he like I don't agree with it, but I understand.
Yeah, customer service sometimes, hey. But that's what I found so interesting, like I said, because I end up, having to deal with it. Because you remember, I forgot what year it is or what area, time frame rather, where it seemed like all companies just said, you know what, I'm getting rid of all our call centers, and then you got to press the button, one for this, two for that, three for that, and you just could not find a human. Then once they did whatever they did, they're like, okay, we're going to hire these people. They get little or nothing. We're going to train them, and the calls are going to India. And next thing you know, you got a whole lot of sickers. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Or if it's not them or they're Filipino.
I'm like, I'm not understanding. So that's good that you can understand that. You've had
Yeah,
some
I mean,
training, you've been around,
yeah.
but I'm just saying here where I live, sometime I'm getting some folks they not communicating at all. I could have tried to guess what sickest was, but some of these folks ain't saying nothing.
Yeah, people we've gotten to this, and I guess that it, I guess that's communication, right? Like the poetic, like I guess it comes down to communication, right?
That is ridiculous, man.
He's still like, if he was, man, if he could be, man, I can read on his face what would have came out his mouth during that whole conversation.
You all check out Poetic Art book. Um, they do have copies as low as $6, so please do
You
purchase
so
one.
ignorant.
I have a question. Because a lot of times when authors write books, right? Um, is the book more of like for the reader, right? Is it more for the women to understand so they can get a better understanding, or is it for the men to
Allow me to expound upon that.
Mhm.
Char, she has some insight because she's had the book for a good almost a month.
And
And
I'm not telling.
however, comma, um, it is for the pleasures of women. And if men would like to use these words as their own, feel free to do that.
Okay.
Because it will give some men a voice when they don't have one. So
Okay.
if they don't have the words to come up with things that they might want to say or feel, by all means, fabricate. For ladies, I just say get you a bottle of wine.
Okay.
Okay. So just speaking from the now, if I as said man was to pick up said book, right, and if I was to take this said book, am I going to be like, "Thank you, brother, poetic art," or will I be cursing you out like Steve Harvey?
Oh no, you'll be thanking me. You'll be thanking me. You'll be like, okay, keep saying ration this information out to whoever the love or loves of your life is.
Okay.
Because
Yes, it's
when
very
you
central.
Ruby, when you were speaking about what type of woman, if you was to read this book, you will get a probably 15 types of women here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see it now. I gotta go do it.
And
I am an empiricist, so now I gotta go do my research.
and some and some entries is just as simple as the most purest thing you can read, and some things is like would I guess would be debauchery art.
Okay.
That is an
Alrighty then.
excellent way of describing something. Wow.
That was
Took those
tweet.
words right out of Char's mouth.
You know what? Hey, that's a hashtag. Debauchery art. Put that right there. Like,
Okay.
that's the best way you
I
said
come up with that stuff off out of thin air every day, so feel free to take it.
it. Hey, that's I'm like, because like a lot of times, like when you know us as men, because there's not a lot of, when you get a lot of things that are explaining how men think, a lot of times the top selling books are women explaining how men think, right? And then there's not men explaining on how we think, right? It's, you know, if women want the insight and have it down so they can read it and take it in that. So I'm glad that, you know, we having more men.
One of my one of my friends, you know, of course, my friends want to help and support me, but they had no idea. The male friends, it
Yeah.
was like, bruh, I didn't know you was writing 50 Shades of Grey. I said, actually, I'm not. But if you choose to describe it as such, because the better part of my book, I'm most proud of my preface, my preface. That is what I'm most proud of. It, it gives a little more insight to who I am as the poetic art. Or if I'm in if I'm speaking a different language, it's going to be Arturo Poetico.
Okay, now I have a question. I gotta be honest with you. Poetry's never been my thing. Like, I don't know. I'm very atypical in a lot of ways, but yeah, poetry's never been my thing, except for one kind. One kind. So now I would like to know. Now, do you do spoken word
I do.
poetry?
Yes,
See now we got something going on here, right here, because I like spoken word poetry. Okay.
because
Let's hear a little bit about that.
actually, the style, the way I write, would be considered for spoken word. I didn't realize that's what it was until I hit the college campus, and I was writing about my neighborhood at the time, and it just started. It started being melodic flow.
Right.
The way that I did take the traditional stanzas and just I would probably create wordplay within a whole sentence, and I would probably rhyme 7 times or 4 times. Let's just playing judo flips with words and trying to be clever with how I put them together. Like the way that I put this book together is just it's 2 parts. There's going to be a dear entry, like for instance, there's like a dear Jackie or dear Renee or dear Shanine or Ginger or Simone or Yoni. But then there's also interludes where I'm speaking to the object of my affection, so to speak. Whereas the rest of it is like I'm just speaking to a type of female. So
Okay.
Char, she's not going to say, but I've had Char proofread my manuscript. What people don't know, she's actually had the book in her possession, probably about 85% of it before it was even published.
Oh yeah, she did not let us know that. I tell you.
Loose lips sink ships.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So we committing all robberies from now on together.
Last time I was on, actually, I was talking about, I was like, I'm writing me a book. And I think that was when I talked about my peach. That was that time. And but from that point, it has gotten much better, much more. The content is the same, and I enjoyed the process of putting this together. And the next one will be twice as filling.
And might I suggest, just it's a little advertisement you can make. You can always perform a couple of the pieces. You know what I mean? Put them on YouTube with the link to your book underneath. I'm just saying.
Okay, check out. Who's ever in the chat room who has it, tell me what you want me to sample for the viewing audience, and Char, you do the same.
Oh, okay. Let me see what I can find without a little less debauchery. Let's see here.
At least PG-13, right? You can't get too adult up on here. It is YouTube.
It's not for kids. Sorry, your channel's not for kids, right? All right, we good. Go in.
Now, what reminds
Everyone, send your kids away now. Okay, go ahead.
right. What reminds me of the spoken word is the chocolate dip, caramel thick, and honey sweet. That kind of reminds me of spoken word.
Okay, let me gather and collect myself. That was to Dear Shanine, yeah.
Yes, to Shanine.
Yeah,
You remember all of them, like off the top of your head?
by and large.
That is incredible. Okay.
Chocolate dip, caramel thick, and honey sweet. Dear Shanine, I have an infatuation and need of your sweet taste. The enticement of my fantasies begin with the delicious joy you bring. You have a bursting asunder of sexual flavors. I have a bursting sensation from your intimate favors. My chocolate stiffness inside your caramel thickness ripples the nerves of my satisfaction down my spine. I have a sweet tooth for the honey taste between your legs. I have deep roots for the way you make me beg. Your chocolate, caramel, and honey complexion swells my manhood to the point of vibrating erections. My chocolate melts in your mouth while your caramel sticks to my tongue. My eyes are glazed over from your honey love. You are one of a kind, and your love is second to none. One love, Poetic Art.
Damn.
Word for word. You didn't miss a beat.
Damn. Well then, all right, ladies. You might want to open up a window about now. Take another sip of that wine. Start a cold shower or something. I don't know.
And sure, that's on the tame side.
Yeah, that's see, and this is why bricks are thrown through windows. Busted. That's all good. See that? That's all good until it stops.
Zero, you are crazy. Zero, you gotta stop that, bro.
Yes, it's all good until it stops. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I have a perpetual wellspring. It never stops.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Is it's my uncle, he told me something. He said you gotta be like you have to do it in a certain point. Like you're an artist, so that's what's expected, right? That's not a thing. But if a mere regular human man was to take that, switch it around, and start using those tools, especially in this day and age, because people don't know how to communicate with each other in each other's airspaces, that is a dangerous tool. So with great power comes great responsibility. So you been in the chat.
I want this, Andre.
Hey, you're supposed to do it good enough that you keep her, but not good enough that you think you getting married in 2 months, and not bad enough you want to get rid of you.
I was born a romantic soul, and I was blessed to be able to articulate myself in such a way.
Yeah.
And that's not subject to change. At this time of my life, that's who I am. It is.
Well, no, and I gotta definitely. Oh, I was gonna say I'll give you your kudos because I mean I am I mean I even had a long running, maybe a couple years, where I covered spoken word once a week on my blog. You know, just really I would comb through. I had looked at maybe hundreds a week to find like one that I was like, yeah, no, this one's really good. Really well done, you know, the way that it would flow, and you know, I mean, and it's really important. See, I don't know. For me, reading it on a page is not the same as someone making the words come to
However,
life for me.
Ruby, this will
Mhm.
change your mind. I promise you that.
Mhm.
This will
Oh,
change your
okay. Oh, I'm gonna check it out. What I say, I'm an empiricist, so I'm gonna check it out because I
mind.
gotta see.
Actually, I performed one of my pieces for the Poetic Poet before at one of her venues. This was probably in
Mhm.
2018, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
Oh, it went over like gangbuster. Got more views than anything else on her website
nice.
to date.
They-
To date.
Nice.
And that
That's
was over
wonderful.
about a minute and a couple of seconds.
Ooh.
Wow. Seems like you need to get yourself a Patreon going. You know what I mean? Get people to subscribe for the monthly poem that you're gonna drop. Like, damn.
And I've been writing this off and on probably a good 20 years.
Yeah. Um,
Because there are a lot of things in here you would never know that I probably wrote back in 2003. Some things I wrote back in 1998
Wow.
because it translated so well. And some things, this was published, officially came out today, but it was published February. Some things that I wrote like 3 weeks before it went to publish.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow, that's a great variety.
and what I like to do is I like to challenge myself. Okay. I will read Dear Renee. She has the book. T. Jones has the book. Um, but I'll get to it. I lost my train of thought.
You like to challenge yourself, and you wrote.
So what I normally do, so people will really know that this is who it is, I was like, okay, Ruby, give me 3 words and I will create something in the next 20 minutes. Or give me 5 words or whatever the case. And I will, this is why, Char, have you read the book? A lot of titles are just 3 or 4 words that have, it's no sentence, it's just words.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, read Dear Renee. Okay, Dear Renee, Dear Renee, Dear Renee, Dear Renee. That would be the peach. Yeah, no? No.
I
What
don't
would Dear
remember saying that. Renee is
what is Renee Char off the top of my head?
give me 1 second. I just had it in my hand. She's
Oh,
in the back.
I know what it is. I know what it is. It's um I know what it is. The water is fine.
Yeah. Yes, it's soaking. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
The water is fine. I think I'll soak into you. Dear Renee, what kind of guarantee can I give you? What type of peace can I give your mind? What is the frequency of your rhythm? What is your special place that I should find? I have been merely getting my feet wet in the spiritual, mental, and emotional body of your deep waters. It is, however, now that I am standing here naked and unashamed, ready to dive into the center of your depth. For so long, I have had imageries of you and I entangled with the joys of one another. I see you very clear. I hear you very well. I taste you very wet. I touch you very warm. I smell you very thoroughly, inhaling all of your form. Joyful love, poetic art.
Mm. I like that one. See, yeah, I like that one. I like that one. Because I think that that one, I don't know why, but to me that one touches on more of a mental connection for some reason. It's not just the physical, which I mean is great. Everyone loves physical connection, but I feel like, to me at least, that one's tapping into like a mental connection where the physical is just like a bonus. You know what I mean? Like
So
it's all
exactly
wrapped up in one.
what it is, because what this was, if you start to read my thing, you'll see a theme that I talk about the five senses within everything that I write there about.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
this,
Taste, sight. Yeah, you do.
Touch, hearing, smell.
Mm.
Uh, now, we didn't heard this peaches for the last like 15 minutes. You might as well just go ahead, man. Get to it. Because
oh no no no
said
no,
peaches like 15 times.
Uh
Like,
oh.
we, you know what I'm saying? Hey,
I've done that's my peach before, but
yeah.
there's a lot of peaches involved.
Miss Chandra said, do on my lucky charm. Do one on my lucky charm? I guess.
I don't know what she's referring to.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
first we got a question here
Go for
from
it.
T Jones. I'm looking forward to a live performance. Do you have one coming up?
Yes, I have. Actually, my release party was supposed to be yesterday, but with the events of everything, it's being pushed back. That's to be determined. But I'll keep
Mm.
everybody informed with that. What that will be. I was trying to have it. I already had a place in Leimert Park. It's in Los Angeles at Miss Barbara's Theater. So hopefully I can procure that once again for next month or as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Most
Might be 2 months from now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
yes. Well,
You can't get more than like 7 people together anymore legally. So I don't know how you're going to try to do that. But yeah, eventually.
I have some ideas. I have some serious ideas, and like I say, technology is very very good. Technology.
Yeah.
True.
True.
Oh yeah.
Yes, definitely. I'm like technology for artists and stuff like that opened up a lot of doors. A lot of people are getting discovered and actually being able to kind of do it on their own without the quote unquote typical help of the machine.
Correct.
Yeah.
So oh yeah, I had fun. One of my brothers wrote the forward. He's actually an art professor at Fullerton. That's Cal State Fullerton. So he blessed me with the forward for this. I really appreciate him for that. Shout out Art New Style.
All right. Shout out to Art New Style.
Yep.
So
Best artist on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah,
Art recognizes art. So you get it?
well, he and I, believe it or not, he and I have been friends since teenagers.
What?
Yes,
Are you serious?
we've been best friends since teenagers. So.
What?
All right.
Did you know that, Char? I did not know. That is amazing.
So
yeah.
yeah.
Small world.
That's my bruh.
Wow. That is really cool because I guess you know what, I guess to me it's so super shocking because I'm in Canada, right? So for sure I will never meet anyone on here that I might know in real life unless I invited them. Right, so I just think it's so cool when it's like, oh my god, you guys know each other in real life. Like I always think that's so amazing because it's like, I don't know, the nearest person to me is what, like 8 hours away.
This book will be great for couples to read together. I mean, it will be very good for couples to read together.
Do you have an audiobook? I'm just wondering.
Not as of yet. I'm gonna tell you guys something. I'm gonna tell you guys something that nobody really knows, but I'm gonna tell it to you guys.
All right.
I'm a musician as well, but this book will be translated into an album.
Oh,
nice.
Wonderful.
Yes, I love that idea. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you for not having that guitar in the background just for show. Just wasting.
Right? I was gonna ask, like, are you just a pretentious ass or can you play the guitar? But I didn't want to, come off too strong.
But
Get it?
Ruby, like the way you can tell if it's an acoustic guitar, right? Like 50-50, the person can't play it. If it's an like electric guitar, they can play it because you wouldn't just go out and buy an electric guitar and just have it sitting up there like 9 times out of 10 because it costs too much. You can go get an acoustic guitar at like a thrift store or something or a yard sale. You just pick it up. Yeah. Yeah,
That is true.
Yeah. So there's, most people don't just have electric guitars just hanging up, just chilling, like not using them. So.
Well, now my question is: so besides the electric guitar, what other instruments do you play, or are there any other? Doesn't have to be. That's enough.
I play acoustic guitar more so than electric guitar, but I play acoustic, electric. Those are the only two things that I would say that I can play. I dabble in other stuff, but I wouldn't claim that as I can play it. Like the bass guitar and some keyboards. I can play the viola, but
What? Are you serious? That is awesome.
that's only because I learned how to play that as a child.
Like, who knows how to play the viola besides you? Like, period. Like, I don't know one Black person who has ever said to me, I know how to play the viola even a little bit.
Char, what the hell is a viola? I'm gonna be the devil's advocate here. What is that? And can
viola is a slightly lower violin.
Let me pull it up for you.
Yeah, it's a little violin.
It's a larger violin.
It's a what?
It's a larger violin. It's built like a violin.
Oh, okay. It's okay. Yeah, it's not. Is it? It's not the really big one, is it?
No, that's a cello.
That's a cello.
or bass. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yes,
it's in the same family. They're all
if you don't think it's a violin.
Okay. So would it be kind of like is a fiddle like the same?
A fiddle with a violin.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So they're all in the same family.
Thanks, crew. Yeah, crew know all that stuff. Yeah, man. This is like, yeah. Hey, look.
Yeah.
See, don't be in the chat. I'm just asking the questions because y'all really want to say this, but I'm just brave enough to be up here.
Whatever.
Not the chat. Like, I know what it is too. Like, but I know crew knows because
I knew the whole time. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, it's like I didn't know. I was like, man, I don't know what he's talking about. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and just agree. Like, yeah, what he's talking about.
I would like to learn how to proficiently play the drums.
Oh,
Would that be cool?
I always wanted to do that. Like my cousins could do it and whatever. And I tried to get up there. It was just the hand-eye coordination with the stepping on the two pedals at the same time and too much going on.
So, Char, believe it or not, Art, I used to go to his house and learning how to play on a broken acoustic piano in his mom's garage. That's where all of the music really comes from, as far as practically playing it, because we're both self-taught.
Oh, okay.
Art plays as well. I mean, he's real humble. He plays more instruments than me. He's very good. He's real good. Because
yeah, he plays sometimes. He'll play sometimes on his live stream.
Because this is like a while back. We'll go over his house and he'd have a studio as soon as you walk into his house, his living room. I'm talking about he bought a Fender Rhodes. I mean, that's how serious it was. And I'm like, man, this was amazing. Guitars, 12-string guitars, electric drum set.
A 12-string guitar?
Yes. It's well, with a 12-string guitar, is you're going to have your majors and minors so close together.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you still have from low E to high E, but the strings are so tight together that they're two. But you play it as one. But if you really, you can pluck all 12 of them individually.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, but he have a 12-string guitar. And we used to get up there and just have a blast at his house, at his condo, really.
Okay.
Wow.
So I really want to say something else in this book, but I don't want to disrespect the moderator.
Oh.
Well, it is it PG-13? Can you flip it a little bit?
Right.
Don't put me out.
Okay, okay. Here's one that can be. It's called Listen Closely. It's very short. It's called Listen Closely. Can you hear my vibrations speak? Your smooth muscles are relaxing. Your frequency is unique. Your labia are unfolding. The menorah and the majora, like a flower beholding, spreading for satisfaction. Spring is in full bloom. I am feeling the forecast. There will be rain soon.
I will burst out laughing.
Bro, that one,
It's
I
so
don't know.
cool. It's so cool, but it makes me burst out laughing. Wow.
No, I was gonna say I don't know that one. I'm like I don't know. You know what? Listen, brothers, if you're trying to find some of these for you to use in your ladies, don't start with that one. That's not the one to start with, especially if it's kind of newish. You know.
What I'm telling you is, I've said 3 things thus far. The stuff that y'all want to hear is
Yeah, you can't say it. I get it. Yeah.
We'll save it for the book. You know.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Now listen, me personally, like that was cool, but it goes in a certain context, right? It's like it's like a hammer and a chisel, right?
See, Ruby, if you look at the book, that's an interlude. Because the book flows.
Okay. We have a couple of questions in the chat room.
Yes, I do speak different languages. I speak a little bit of English.
Just a little bit.
I speak a little bit of Spanish. I speak a little bit of Japanese. And I speak a very little bit of Arabic.
Are you able to do the poem in Spanish?
Sure.
Oh, all right. Would you like the one that T. Jones asked you to do, or whatever
Which
you
one?
like?
Which one
She
did she
asked
ask?
for the one with the what is it? The spring. Why is it such a hard time remembering the name of that? I'm flipping through the book now trying to find it. I know it was near the end. Oh, we can go with the one I just mentioned, the chocolate dip caramel thick.
We did. She she said, "Damn." That's what she wanted. Question: Would this book be good for? Got you. Da, 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 da. Canada disrupted a Ruby stream.
Mhm.
Ruby.
She'll be back.
Oh, okay. There you
There
go.
she is. Boom.
Ruby's back.
Yeah, no, what happens is I have a bad habit of either accidentally refreshing the page because I'm on my cell phone. So it's very easy to do. You could slide it down, or pressing X's I shouldn't press, which is what I did in this case. So I was listening. You're like, yeah, no, I got this. And then, yeah, no, you were gone. I'm sorry. Like mid sentence, too. I felt so bad. I was like, oh, quick, rush back.
What, Sandra Lee? Whatever do you mean? Do one on my Lucky Charm? Elucidate.
Yeah, that's what that's what I was asking earlier. I saw it earlier.
Elucidate me, please.
Is she still there? I think she's still
Mhm.
Let's see.
there. Yeah.
Where is it? I'm still scrolling. Or you can do the honey dip.
Higher up.
Honey dip. Honey dip. Honey dip.
Well, yeah, I changed the name. It takes me to change the name of some. I apologize. Let me get the chocolate
Yeah,
dip
no, this is Char.
caramel
Char
thick.
does not know the lyrics to nothing. It's not you, it's her.
We did
It's
that
okay.
already.
Can you do it in Spanish though?
Not off the top of my head because I just don't translate well, but I could do the ones that I have here in Spanish.
Okay, go right on
Oh, see,
ahead.
even if those are like seriously, even if those are like explicit, not enough people understand Spanish to have it flagged. I'm just saying, right?
Right.
Like, yeah. Go ahead.
Hold on one second.
We'll just listen to the rhythm of your speech, because it's always sexy when a guy can speak foreign, right? You're just like,
Yeah.
sing more. I don't even know what you're saying.
Yeah. This is mi nombre, and I wrote this to Mariposa. So it's querida Mariposa. This means dear Mariposa. Mi nombre es Arturo, pero no siempre fui así desde el principio. A través de tiempos felices y corazones rotos. Las cuerdas de nuestro corazón se han desgarrado. He estado corriendo por el tiempo en mi mente como un maratón. Al aferrarse a los recuerdos de ti que están cerca y claros. Pensamientos sobre ti nunca se irán. Si alguna vez estás perdido, tú encontraré navegando por los manas, estrellas, llamando la oscuridad como un dioso del sol. En sus marcas, prepárate y vete. Vamos a reiniciar esto. Te extraño y te anhelo del nuevo. Aprender de nuevo será mi misterio. Amarte de nuevo es mi destino. Mi nombre es Arturo y te necesito a mi lado. Ya tú sabes, Arturo poético.
All right.
Okay.
Sound like she's happy at the end. I'll tell you that much.
Right?
I will
Okay.
translate for you.
Is that Mexican Spanish or what?
That's just actually no, it's not. It's actually universal.
Universal Spanish? Okay.
It's the Spanish he knows.
Yeah.
So I have a question
Yeah,
for
I
you.
would like. Let me translate it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mi nombre, which means my name.
Okay.
So my name is Art, but it wasn't always that way from the start. Through happy times and broken hearts, our heartstrings have been torn apart. I have been running through time in my mind like a marathon, holding on to memories of you that are near and clear. Thoughts of you will never depart. If you are ever lost, I will find you by navigating star charts, illuminating the darkness like a sun goddess. On your mark, get set and go. Let us restart this. I miss and crave you back to me. To learn you again will be my mystery. To love you again is my destiny. My name is Art, and I need you next to me. You already know, Poetic Art.
All right.
Aww. That was sweet. That was nice. Yeah,
I
no,
knew she was
I don't
gonna
know
be
what I was
happy.
expecting. Yeah, no, because it sounded all like, I mean, all of them. Listen, I've heard the tone of several, so I expected a certain something when it was, in another language. So it's like, oh, that's like a heartbreak. I'll be missing you one. Aw, like
Hey,
I like it.
see, Ruby, see, you forgot, right? He told you earlier right?
Mm.
There's no type, right? So there's tools in the shed, in the box that it comes out when it needs to come out. They come out.
One of the persons in the chat room said that every woman will find herself somewhere in here.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So
Okay. What does extraño mean? I ever since that song All About the Benjamins, the CD that song came out on, there's an interlude on it, and she says that extraño mucho. And I don't speak Spanish, so I've never. But you just said that word again, and I'm like, what does that mean?
strange.
Hmm?
Extraño is strange.
Strange.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and mucho means like a lot, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Something.
Very strange. A lot strange.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't look at words literal. You got to look at the phrases.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the way they do Spanish compared to French and English, they speak backwards the way we think about it.
Absolutely.
No, I know. Yeah, I speak French, so I know that much. But I'm like,
Yeah.
it was more like the. Sorry, say that again.
Comment vous appelez-vous?
Oh, moi, je m'appelle Ruby. Oh, je pense que tu dis mon nom en vérité. Mais j'ai appris, oui, je suis canadien. Alors, je suis bilingue. Je suis complètement bilingue. Alors, juste en français et en anglais. Je ne parle pas l'espagnol du tout.
Merci.
Yeah, see, French I can do. Spanish not so much.
Which is kind of strange because I was learning French and Japanese at the same time, and French was just I can't do this.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
yeah,
it's a different language. Like I learned French, in French immersion, so I started learning it at 3 years old, and they only taught us. I learned French before I learned English, like as a class. So
isn't that the Canadian language?
It's our second language. The way Spanish is a second language in America. So.
Right.
Actually, you'll find probably the majority of Canadians probably can't really speak much more than like really basic what you just said, bonjour, comment t'appelles-tu, kind of French. But we do have immersion programs where you can literally take your kids, drop them off when they're in junior kindergarten, and they can be taught 100% in French all the time. And so they pick up a second language like they're in France, because that's what they do to you 8 hours a day until you're done high school.
Ruby. Yandre Char.
Yes.
This is a piece through this book that I actually wrote from a woman's perspective. So basically, I wrote this from a woman actually speaking to me. So the name of this is called I Found Myself, Not You. So it starts off, Dearest Art. I have been used and abused for so long that I have lost the value of myself. I've been mistreated and made to feel weak, but I am quite strong. My heart's desire has lied and conspired to hurt me. By settling for less than my worth has stunted my growth. I realize that I am recycling dysfunction for us both. It is unfair that I have been in despair with this facade that I wear, ignoring what is obvious while giving attention to what is obnoxious. In my lonely time of my solitude is where I have rediscovered and fell in love with who I am once again. I love myself and I can no longer settle for less. I am now awakened from a nightmare. I am now walking in clarity with perfect resolution. To my pain and suffering, I've always had the solution. I am royalty. I am beauty. I am a classy woman who has more to offer than an attractive booty. I am a priceless jewel. I am the best of God's creation. I am the mother of civilization, and my body is not for your recreation. I thought I found life with you. However, I was mistaken. I am pleased and thankful that I recognize the truth. I am pleased and humbled by the person that I truly am. Many a days I have spent with my eyes in tears and feeling blue. The best thing that I can say today is I found myself, not you. Thank you, Giselle.
Now, did you write that or did she write that?
I wrote that.
Okay.
And I wrote that because because a woman gave me the title, and I was like, I'm gonna write from this title because obviously she looked like she was going through something, and that's what I put myself in an empathetic situation and thought, how could she possibly be feeling? And then I wrote it from that. And actually, this was written unedited. I wrote it right the first time.
Nice. Yeah, no, I'm surprised there's no editing or anything into that. That's awesome.
Very creative.
Hmm.
So
Kind
Char,
of like
it's more than just the other stuff, Char.
Well, yeah, now I have a much more well-rounded perception of this book. I was just like, okay, so basically it's porn, but in words. Okay, great. Right? Like, it's just like,
What? No, not that. It's not porn.
well,
Well,
no, now I don't think so, right? But before I wasn't sure.
let me because you have to be understanding of art in all formats, porn included. But if this is a it can be construed as that or called that. I don't have issue with that because I take pride in how I put whatever the porn is on paper, where it's like, oh, that's some artistic stuff. You be like, how do you? And what I like to do, I like you to visually see what I write. That's what I like to do, so you can visually like, okay, man, I see that, I see this, I see that. Because once upon a time, I would allow you to see my art by drawing pictures, but I want to draw a picture to your mind by my words.
Hmm. Which I find more effective. But I mean, I'm a reader, but I prefer that. And like when people, for example, in novels, right, they spend all this time describing characters and describing scenery, and I skip over those paragraphs altogether. Like my brain, scans them just to make sure that all it is description bullshit. But I don't care. I don't need your description of the character. My mind already created one. So I find, at least when, with the way that you're writing, I'm like, I can create the characters in a way. And so they'll fit my taste of what I want to see in that scene or whatever.
What I will do for your edification,
Hmm.
I will read off the table of contents to give you an index of suspicion what you have.
Oh, okay, let's do it.
Original fantasy part 1. The letter. Second letter. When it's on, it's on. We've already chocolate dip caramel thick and honey sweet. The light of day. Keep it real. Woman is my balance. Sweet tooth. Anatomy of a midsummer night. Jazzed. This is one of those 3 words. Marriage caramel hills. Just hold me tight. Her. I am. Bliss air chocolate. Black fist. I found myself, not you. The tone of your flesh. Let the truth unfold. Truth smokes sweet peace. The water is fine. I think I'll soak into you. Picture coral food smile. New comfort, security conscious. Mi nombre. Tammy. Can I spend my life with you? Sweet drip. Before the orgasm. Can we talk? Damn, I say. Breeze ring God time. Caught my eye. Dark trust, water lust. Nuestros cuerpos. In my jungle. Peach. That's my peach. The Bermuda Punani.
No doubt with that one. All right, go ahead.
Altered beast. Queen ring house. Listen closely. Sand black star. And finally, original fantasy part 2. So,
All right.
Yeah, the Bermuda Punani. That is a yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna
Right,
leave
and then the last few after that one, they're basically just like, cuddle poems, right? Because you've already climaxed at that point. The last couple, you just
Oh
cuddle
no
to.
no 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 no. Ruby. Oh no. Altered Beast is follows that up.
Right. Fair
Yep.
point. Fair point.
Like,
Could
yeah.
be a long weekend, y'all. You better make sure you're
Uh,
well stocked.
did I use a fictitious name? Just curious. I will say I probably use 4 fictitious names.
Oh, we snitching.
I use 4 fictitious names, but the real names that I do have, I shook them up in a bag and I didn't place them to where they belong.
That was cool.
I didn't place them to where they belong. So, yeah, because let me see. Ginger is a real person. Simone is a real person. Shanine is a real person. Pardon me. Jackie is a real person. Karen is a real person. Yoni is not a real person, but that has a double entendre because of what Yoni is, and the name of the poem is "Just Hold Me Tight."
Mm-hmm.
Jay is not a real person. Tamika is a real person. Renee is a real person. Maddie Bosa is a real person. I think that's about the rest of the real people over here. Let me make sure. Luciana, she's not a real person. Rebecca is a real person. And Jasmine is a real person.
All right.
No. No.
What can you say?
Now, are the people that are not the real people, are they like an amalgamation of different instances that you put together, like
No,
personal experience, or is just
the content is real. The name is just fictitious because I wanted to have uh, uh, a bit of a exotic but not uncommon name, but not common name.
Okay.
So you got people like Yoni. If anybody don't know what Yoni is, you can look that up.
Okay. So now I got a question because
Go
you
for it.
did say, I'm pretty sure you did say you're working on a second one.
Yes.
So for the ladies out there listening who maybe want you to write a piece based on, their suggestions or their 3 words or whatever, is there any way that they could submit those to you for consideration, or
Yes. What
how
they
does
can
that work?
do is submit it to the. Okay, you can submit it to me. It's I'll type it into the room, but it's poetic.art47@gmail.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right. So y'all ladies, y'all fans who are here, he could literally, you might see your suggestion up in his next book. So, think wisely, think carefully before you submit it in there. You want to make sure it's something that's going to entice him to want to grab on. And is it going to be the same theme? Like, are we going around the same theme? Like, every lady find herself in there. Are you going to go a different direction with the second one? What are we looking at?
Well, that's still to be determined.
Okay.
I have to discuss it with my art circle. See, what get some suggestions from them, and to see
So,
how you know what type of muse I'm working with. Because believe it or not, a lot of this was written because I have a muse.
true.
Is that too short?
No.
Okay.
Glass number 3 or 5?
Still on the same one. Almost done.
Okay.
Oh, one of the persons said she found it on Amazon. Good, very good, very good. It's available for Amazon.
Yeah.
I was able to find it. I didn't think that it would happen by me clicking on the Amazon link though, but it did actually bring me to Amazon Canada. And so it's like, yeah, it's shipped to you in 1 to 2 days. I'm like, really? And then I had to go check and be like, oh, it redirected to Amazon.ca. Look at you. All right then. Even on Amazon Canada, international. All right.
Well, that's what Kobo distribution is, an international distribution. So
Mm.
it would have got, and that's based in Japan, by the way. So it's going to be available everywhere. That's that company utilizes in conjunction with oh, shoot, my brain is, I forgot, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
But oh yeah, I just want everybody to enjoy it. I would love to autograph or sign every copy. Unfortunately, everybody's from different parts of the world. But what I do suggest everybody um, take a picture of my book and send it to me, and I put it into a collage. I've already have lots and lots of people already who purchased it when it was available for before an official date release.
Mhm.
Like Char herself, and probably a good 20 people.
Cool.
Um, now I just a question. Now I know you can't tell all the secrets of everything, right? But normally, what is the time frame for from when you finish writing the book to it's actually going out for print and going through the whole thing? Like,
That's based upon how you're going to have it published. I self-published my own book in conjunction with Lulu.com, who did all of the manufacturing for me.
right.
Now, if you go to, and that can be as fast as whenever you finish the book, whenever your manuscript is done and it's proofread and all that. That can be as fast as 5 days. You get your finished product in the mail.
Right.
But dealing with a large publisher, it takes much longer because of the minutiae of everything. They will front up all the money. They're going to copyright it for you. They're going to get your ISBN numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to do all those things myself. I have to pay for all of those, the copyrights and the ISBN numbers, and you have to have a new ISBN number every time you have a change. For instance, I have a hardback, I have a paperback, and I have an ebook. All three of them have 3 separate ISBN.
That's correct.
Mhm.
So now the proofreading time frame, because when you finish it, you send it to someone to proofread it, right? So do you to make the corrections, grammatical and all of that, do you send that to someone that's a professional editor to look it over, or
you can do that, or you can just have a collection of people that's into literature, like English majors or professors, stuff like that, who have the time for that. They can do that for you. But it also depends on how large it is.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a large book, you have to send that to a professional proofreader and editor. You have to do that. If it's something on the scale like I have, that it's not worth the money to do that.
So, like, what would be considered a large book?
I would say 300 pages.
He thinks 300 pages. So
I would really suggest somebody have a professional proofer for 300 pages or 200 pages.
200 pages, like 200 pages or over is pretty much where you get a professional proofer or something like that.
I would always suggest that.
Now, what is your book considered in in the realm of genres? Because I know
actually it goes under officially goes under poetry, but also goes under erotic literature.
Okay, so basically it can fill both gaps. So then you have because I noticed with certain types of genres, there's a lot of leeway, and there's not that much leeway in certain type of genres when people write books. Because
Right.
people say they have a book coming out, but you actually wrote your book, versus another person will have someone come and write the book for them, and they'll just tell them their story, and that person will write it down for them. Like these celebrities that say they got a book coming out, but they didn't actually write it. They
Well,
actually,
this is give the information.
yeah, you know, because because I'm in the entertainment industry myself, so I would, just to give people like how much, when people don't understand that coming out with literature or something that you're doing is very labor intensive, is costly, and you have to sell so many copies, depending on if you didn't get the right deal or not. Like basically, it sounds like from yourself, you have like distribution, like you have a set deal that's set up into play where everything's going. Yeah. So, what I mean, like you may not, I'm not putting your business out there, but just hypothetically speaking, is you like someone that comes out with a book, that is pretty much they're just writing it and giving it to somebody, versus you have your own book in a distribution deal. You can sell less copies but make more money than a person has.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I'm gonna tell you the trick to this. If you own the ISBN, you own the book.
Yeah.
A lot of times, let's say for instance, Amazon Direct. A lot of times people, they just want their book to come out and they may not have the funds. So Amazon would create the ISBN, and Amazon is the owner of the ISBN. So wherever the ISBN goes, Amazon goes with it.
Yeah.
So this ISBN is mine, and every ISBN is actually registered.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and this is so important, because if you take everything that you've written out of that book and say you turn it into an album and you didn't have that ISBN, which is yours,
Right.
you would go through hell and high water, because you could get actually sued, quote unquote, by the publisher or Amazon for copyright.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But however, this is what you have to do before all of that. If you're not producing your own ISBN so that you have that ownership and is registered, and I did this even though I own my ISBN, but you should always do this. You have to go to the Library of Congress and copyright your stuff.
Yep.
It only costs $50.
Yep. People don't know that. People don't know that. people a lot of people don't understand, because there was this thing in the news about Meg Thee Stallion and her deal with Jay Prince, right?
Right.
And I was like, why are y'all complaining? She signed the contract.
Correct.
Right. And it was like, well, that ain't right. No, it's business. Business don't care about your feelings.
Exactly.
And they tell you before you sign the contract, take it to a lawyer.
Right.
And people don't realize that there's a difference between an entertainment lawyer and a regular lawyer.
Correct.
Total different jargon, 3-point system, rights, royalties, all that other stuff. But and this is why I'm asking you this on an artist perspective, is what you do. Like, how has the dynamic changed? Because you've been doing this for a while. How has the dynamic changed with the institution of the internet? Like, because like, how has the money, like the actual way of you actually taking care of your lifestyle and making your money off your art, how has it changed with the internet?
Well, the thing about it hasn't really changed that much, because self-publishing been around forever. The only thing the internet does is give you marketing advertisement, where you would not have, because you can on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever your choice of preference is. That's that. But to really make money in this industry, you really have to come out with about 4 or 5 books a year. And that's if this is your full-time gig. This is not my full-time gig. This is just what I like. My labor of love. This is my passion, and I wanted to complete something that I started. However, as a result of that, it has allowed me to know the know-how is simple now. That's the easiest part. So now I can just focus on the creation, and I know once I create it, I know how to get it out. I don't have to do a hurdle or the loop, the holes I have to go through. I've already done that with this one, so it's like, okay, this is much better. I know how the nuances are, but I do believe if I chose to let this be my sole or primary source of revenue, I will be successful at this. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, there is. And that's what I kind of asked a lot of artists and when I talk to them, because I dealt with artists and deal with them a lot, and a lot of them, especially on the music side, for people that do other things with art, far as paintings, far as poetry or putting books or what they would call, quote unquote, call tangible art, where you actually have to have the physical copy of it to a certain degree. The internet has helped them with on this next phase of it, right? But with the musicians, it's hurt them a lot because they used to sell the physical copies,
Right.
the playing on the YouTube. They get more money off of plays, and they actually got to go back to the old school way of doing things, where they actually got to go on the road, like the old Motown days. They got to go
to the chitlin circuits and stuff like that.
Exactly. They got to go to the chitlin circuits, and then you got dudes doing shows in clubs for like 20-30,000, and they slapping phones out of people's hands and stuff like that you wouldn't normally ever get air through. So what I've seen in this is that I think in the next like 5 to 6 years, no longer will you'll be able to be on a platform to just start off from nothing and make it. You're actually going to have to invest again, like back in the day. Like studio time used to be.
Well, they're going to try, because it is making an avenue for there are more successful people in the arts today than it ever were been before, because of the accessibility and the ease of it.
Yeah, and the machine can't control it. It's actually
because it's taken over. It became evolved to an entity of itself that is very hard to try and pull back and try and regulate or put things in place. But like you said, it's going to come at a hard price to the artist. But the powers that be will eventually try and put their finger on their thumb on that and have a controlling interest on that.
No, I remember back in the day, because you're into you do music also,
right,
and other things. I do remember back in the day that people, artists, a one-hit wonder would last for at least 3 years.
Yes,
3 to 5. Now a one-hit wonder lasts 3 months.
Right,
and gone. Like you don't know. They'll go.
Realize that one-hit wonder person is living large from back in the
day. Now, not because of these 360 deals, right? Like they're getting performance money. Like before, you could, and for me, I'm a promoter, like a concert promoter. So we would reach out directly to the artist, get a deal with them on their off season, but they signed to these 360 deals where no matter what concert or what booking they do, the label's getting a piece of that.
Correct.
And you got to kind of do it in this weird way to get the price down of them just flying over on they just kicking back, having fun, and then things happen. It's like so much stuff that goes into it. So a lot of these indie artists are actually kicking off because they don't have those restraints of the 360 deal, the record labels.
Mm-hmm.
Labels. Even if they built their own label, they got this heavy distribution, like Cash Money, Young Money, and stuff like that. But from your opinion, because you're in California, right?
Yes, sir.
So because I've seen this thing open wide up. In your opinion, because I just started to get into like film and like movies and stuff like that, and understanding the art within that, and I love that. I love how dialogue and stuff like that. Have you?
And the music that accompanies it, and then the score that goes along with it.
Yeah. So have you looked at actually taking one of your books and doing like short films with those books?
Not as of yet. Not as of yet. Because I'm just really getting my feet wet with this. I have so many things that I've written a long time ago, but things be moving forward, and it's just all those things will happen, but it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
I'm not in a rush for it because the slow and steady always wins the race, and
Yeah.
it'll go on. I'm not hurting for revenue like that, and because of that, it allows me to put it out into the world the right way.
Yeah. Because I saw a couple of guys like I used to follow this brother Hot Damn Rock. I still follow him. Young brother, he kind of got into something, some tragedy hit. He was going through some things. But have you ever seen that he did a parody of the Mario Brothers? It was funny where he's got the Mario hat and then the Luigi hat on.
I don't know if I've seen that before.
Yeah, it's if you watch it, it's really dark. It's a dark take on Mario and Luigi, and he got to go save the princess, but Mario doesn't want to go because he's tired.
Right.
He's tired of, and it's this funny thing that they go back and forth, right? And he does it in this wonderful way, right? Of just this parody. But looking at how I see a lot of people taking their spoken word or their poems and actually making little shorts out of those just to bring the visuals to the actual pages or the poem itself. Like, or you know what I'm saying? Because the music video is nothing but visuals to the actual music. Now you can't even put out music without having any visuals. Like no one would, like it goes hand in hand. Like you don't even put out an album anymore. Like, artists don't even announce when they drop an album. They just drop them.
This is why I really appreciate Jessica Holter. I mean, she is, I give her a lot of kudos. She's been on the front line of poetry and spoken word. I first saw her on HBO like in the 1990s, some 20 years ago. And I appreciate her because she created an avenue for this type of literature expression, this poetic expression. So, and the simple fact that I had to meet her, conversate with her, and perform for her, and the reality is, she one of the pieces that I talk about the Bermuda Punani, I actually wrote that for her book, but I've used it in mine as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
That is,
I have a question. So,
Ruby,
going back to this.
We was in here being nerds. Go ahead, Ruby. I'm sorry.
We'll let yours be the final question, and then we'll end the show.
Okay. So, just changing tracks a little bit, right? So, given all that, I think the kind of insight we were able to get from, hearing some of your poetry, knowing it's spoken word, and, kind of getting a lot of that. My question is going to be this for you. So now, obviously, right, because we started off the show talking about this topic where, how much alone time now you as man individually, so me, it's a little different. All right, cool. And we heard, DeAndre, thank you. You brought us the opposing side, which we're more used to hearing. And both me and Char brought two different, but come on, why weren't you sides to the the female argument. Right. So I guess my question would be this now, right? What can a woman do, in your opinion, right? So, because, not every guy's like you, but I mean, obviously you got friends. So that means, guys who are, like DeAndre or like, what we expect to hear.
Yeah.
So, given your insight, what would be, or what should a woman do? How should a woman approach actually getting a man maybe to open up to her more, want to spend more of that alone time with her, want to share more of his thoughts with her? Like, what does a woman do? How does she go about doing that and becoming that for a man?
Don't ask to what a man hears is a woman trying to pull iron out of the concrete. Don't try and pull it out. Just ask. You have to ask the right questions because everything is about asking the right question the right type of way. And you can't ask a question based upon how you want to hear it. You have to really, and that goes into learning your whoever you're dealing with. And one of the things is to like respect if a person is saying not right now, not right now. I'll tell you, but you have to respect the boundaries. You really have to, because that means a lot. Because respect to a man is what love is to a woman.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So if a man don't feel that you respect him, in essence, he feel like you don't love him. As it relates to you, how a woman feels about love.
I'm sorry to cut it. Can you say that for the people way in the back?
In the back.
In
Yeah,
the back.
Right?
Yes.
Right. Can you say that for the people back? Thank you.
Respect to a man is what love is to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And if he feels you don't respect him, that's the equivalent of you don't love him.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm.
Better recognize.
Deep. Yeah, no. Thank you very much. I think that right there, if everyone could take that like 1 minute, you watch all this and then listen to that and hear what was just like that. That's like gold for someone
That
to just,
is.
right. Just recognize the fact that you keep harping on it means you're not respecting what he's asking you for. So if you don't love him, why would he want to open up to you? You show him that respect and say, okay, baby, you know what? And let him come to you. Hey, you know what I mean? That shows, oh, she loves me enough. She cares enough about what I need to respect my space. Man, see? Yeah, I'm so glad I asked that as the last question because I think a lot of women needed to hear that.
And,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and to be honest, respect equals love, and it also equals submission.
True.
Positively, not the slavery type that other people be propagating. But
Right.
space and respect, and and that respect also equals trust too. It's so many that respect with men equals so many things that just what I mean. It's the love, it's the trust, and the trust goes back to the love. It's just this circle of wonderfulness. And if the man got any sense, he'll protect that. Like he'll put his life on the line for everything that's involved in that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he'll treat even children that it's not his as his own. You know what I mean? And we've seen men do this. Like we've seen we've seen men do this. So yeah, that sentence alone right there just hey.
Yeah. That topped it off.
Top off.
I want to thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Poetic Art, for
So
joining us.
I appreciate you immensely. And I've been on pins and needles since over 30 days waiting for this.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And you were great. That's all I can say. I hope, and we have some great supporters. I'm sure 1% would at least that's watching this will at least purchase the book out of curiosity, if nothing else. It is a great read, and if you heard the tape I played earlier, you can get it for $6 rather. So if you guys $6, come on here. Thank you everyone for joining us the first time. I had seen a few names I hadn't recognized. Thank you for coming and supporting this channel as well as art.
Thank you so much.
Um, Continue to like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate it. If you like to support the channel financially, the links I think are it's in the description as well as the chat room. Um, we have the show every Friday, 9:30 p.m. Central.
Mm,
We get a guest, at least I try to get a guest once a month. That's the goal. And I like to contribute something financially to the guest. So your support to the channel will help support the channel with the guest. So do keep that in mind. You all be safe with all that's going on. No
mhm,
need to panic. Use the resources that I mentioned earlier, or check to see if your state are giving those type of resources. And be vigilant. So again, thank you again, Poetic Art, for joining us. I will be talking with you soon. Thank you guys for joining the panel. Really
Page
appreciate the
10.
conversation. All right, pose, strike a pose.
Lady, lady, page 10.
Hey, yeah, that's where it's at.
Okay. And hello, Black Pill Paradise, and good night, Black Pill Paradise.
I appreciate everybody. Ruby, DeAndre, Char, magnificent.
Wonderful. And until next time, see you next week.
All right.
All
Peace.
right. Cheers, y'all. Don't be a stranger, Poetic Art.
I will not.
Good.